Harley Davidsons. Until 3 years ago, Harley Davidson had stores in India. Today they don't. But they have a brand new Harley Davidson bike that is out for consumers in the Indian market. And that has been brought out in that joint venture alliance that Harley Davidson has with Hero MotoCorp in India. It's called the X440. And Harley Davidson is back in business in India, but how well can it compete this time around? Because last time around, the prices were so high that the entry-level Harley Davidson cost over 4 lakh rupees. But that's not the case with the brand new X440, because that has been priced at almost half of it, 2.3 lakh rupees. Kartik, fantastic price point for, first of all, Harley Davidson to release a new bike in the country, competing with the local Indian favorite, that's Royal Enfield.
Royal Enfield, true. And 2.3 is a little mouth-watering for a brand like Harley Davidson. If you could put your hands and get your hands on that Harley Davidson at a price point of 2.3 lakh rupees, I think it's definitely not going to be something that Royal Enfield or Bajaj Auto are going to like. But I think it definitely opens up a whole new gamut of options for biking enthusiasts, and of course the cult following that Harley Davidson has had in India, across the world. Now Indians especially will get easier access, cheaper access, if I may, to the Harley Davidson. And yeah, I think it's definitely good news, the fact that these Harley Davidsons are actually made in India. Harley Davidsons, they are being made at the Neemrana plant of Hero MotoCorp. And 440cc, so squarely competing in the 350cc and above category, but not the 975cc's that were earlier prevalent in India and are actually riding the waves across the world, which in India were also priced in excess of 7 lakh, 8 lakh rupees. So I think it's definitely a game changer.
Oh, game changer. It's mainly because the price point and the fact that it's a bona fide Harley, and it's a bona fide made in India Harley. You know, who would have thought, Srinath, who would have thought a made in India Harley Davidson, and at a price point that is mouth watering? Would you go for it, first of all?
No, not really. I mean, slightly different contrarian view. I think if you look at compare all the price points, the young professionals will find it extremely exciting. But for an iconic brand like Harley, I mean, you would want what's available globally as the best and at a higher price point. It has to be a little aspirational. If today Ola or a Hither electric scooter is costing 1.2, 1.4 lakhs, to me, a Harley at 2.4 is great at 400cc, but for a young professional, not for those who want to claim that they've arrived. I mean, so this is exactly how probably Mercedes says we also have a A-class, or a BMW saying we also have a smaller variant. I think in my mind, Harley has a challenge. Are they mass affluent or are they aspirational? So I'm looking at it as slightly different, saying that they're going to find it a little difficult over a point in time to keep the HNI and the UHNI consumers engaged. How will they talk about engagement at the dealership level? How will they talk about special access, special events, and so on and so forth in the marketing engagement?
Well, you're talking about UHNIs, Ultra HNIs. You know, for an Ultra HNI, if you were to go, you know, had a choice between two iconic brands that he wants to keep in his, portfolio, which is like, say, be it a Ducati versus, a Harley Davidson. They're two different things altogether, but at the end of the day, they're iconic bike brands. I'm guessing then Harley still could make the cut.
I mean, the Harley would make the cut, right? I mean, the Harley is an iconic brand. It has got a huge image. That's a reality. But by diluting the pricing point, how do they do it? I mean, very, very simple. I think the classic, the textbook case study of how Nokia also upgraded itself to Virtu. Would they have done it with a different brand, a sub-brand? I mean, that's where I'm kind of conflicted, saying, are they going to dilute their brand in the overall? Mouth-watering price points, the volumes offtake could tick off all the boxes from business perspective. The other aspect that we're not speaking about is it a business necessity for them to survive, to go mass affluent? Probably then that's a reality. Right. I think for Hero, it's a great strategy, right? I mean, they've got an iconic brand almost for a song.
Right.
But that is what it seems to be, right? The case seems to be pretty similar to that, because if you look at the numbers globally and also in India, but globally also, Harley sales have been dwindling. And in India, in the 3 years that Harley was selling bikes in its own showrooms in India, and these were expensive bikes, right? The true Harleys that we knew of, the sales actually plummeted to a third by the time the third year ended, Srinath. So I think it is definitely a game of survival. It is about keeping the Harley brand alive in the mass affluent section, as you mentioned, while keeping the niche product, the ultra premium UHNI centric brand relevant for those who can afford it.
I mean, that's true, but will they stay interested and engaged in the same Harley brand? I mean, imagine if there are a million Harley Davidson bikes in India across Indian roads in the next couple of years. How would you feel paying 20 lakh rupees to get a Harley Davidson? I mean, it's exactly that. It goes back to the contradictory view that we have had. The amount of Mercedes and BMWs in Indian metros are increasing by number. So how much of it will still be more aspirational, which is why you're seeing the higher price points still coming into India by those brands. This is exactly the challenge. I think it's a great win for Hero, having kind of lost that Honda kind of franchise. For them, it's a great one. So are we seeing that at some point, sooner or later, an Indian company will acquire the global rights of global brand Harley? Probably. I mean, I would bet on that.
All right. Fair enough. Mr. Mathias, if I can come to you on that, the fact of the matter is that it's a made in India Harley Davidson. As far as the price point is concerned, here are my 2 bits. You had the iPhone, and look at the number of variations of iPhone. You have the basic iPhone, the mini iPhone, the Pro Max. It's for a premium product. They've been able to come out with so many variations. In that sense, Harley Davidson could take it from 2.3 right up to 10 lakh rupees if it wants to.
Absolutely. But I just want to come in with a slightly more different take on the entire pricing strategy. I think what Harley is done with this mouth-watering 2.3 lakh pricing strategy, and I'm not going to comment about what it does to the brand image, etc. I think it's following a strategy that a lot of global corporations look at in India. They look at India for the numbers, not so much for the gross margin. I just give 2 examples of 2 digital icons. India is Facebook's largest market by users, right? There are more Indians on Facebook than any other nationality in the world. Yet, India doesn't figure in the top 5 markets by revenue for Meta. India is world number 3 in the number of LinkedIn users. Yet, India doesn't figure in LinkedIn's top 10 markets by revenue. So, I would see a lot of global iconic brands, legacy brands, trying to look at that strategy, saying that this is too large a mass of humanity that we cannot not be in. And therefore, we'll have a presence through if I could call it a watered down version, low cost version, but we'll still look at earning our maximum profitability and gross margins for more developing markets. So you are priming a market that has a lot of humanity that over time is likely to grow more affluent and certainly afford your services, but you're keeping the brand alive. So my sense is there'll be a lot of brands, iconic legacy brands, that may have this kind of strategy saying, hey, we will have a 2.3 lakh bike while we are still selling the monster to, let's say, more ready and emerging markets. And of course, within India, you'll have that micro segment of really affluent people who want the real.
All right.
I just want to come in for a second, Krishna. It's 4:40 p.m. It's the X440 that we're talking about. And bookings incidentally opened at 4:40 p.m. today. This is news that has just come in. And I think any of our audience members who want to get their hands on this new X440 can log in and pay 5,000 rupees as booking amount. And deliveries are expected to arrive in the month of October. Back to you.
All right. Very important information that even as we continue discussing what it means. I just have a quick point to ask. Should Royal Enfield be worried, Srinath? Because 2,15,000 for a Royal Enfield and 2,30,000 for a Harley Davidson, just in case the traditional Indian consumer changes his or her mind?
No, not really. I think the traditional Indian, the classic brand, iconic brand of Enfield, the Royal Enfield's Bullet is very, very different from the Harley Davidson. So I wouldn't be worried about the price point at all.
Mr. Mathias, for the affluent, aspirational Indian looking to get an iconic bike, choice between Enfield and Harleys?
I think this price point will certainly make a significant impact in urban India, for where Harley is a large brand. There's certain,
right.
shall we say, brand value, certain bragging rights, certain kind of badge value to owning a Harley. I think for the rest of India, where the Bullet has stood the test of time, has been around for years, will still continue. So I think there will emerge 2 segments. There will be a Harley fan following, and there will still be a Royal Enfield Bullet. So I must say that the market is still limited in that category.
All right, all right. Also, bear in mind that there will be the Hero MotoCorp's version of the same bike, the X440, set to release later in the year as well. Just like how Maruti and Toyota, have the same platform cars with two different badges and two different brand names. We'll have to see how that pans out. And as Srinath is talking about how much does that water down the Harley Davidson brand further. We'll have to wait and watch on that. But I'm sure we'll get Srinath back again to discuss that when that version releases. But for now, Srinath Sridharan and Mr. Lloyd Mathias, wonderful having you gentlemen here on the show. We've completely run out of time here. And of course, my good friend Kartik, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Krishna.
That's a wrap here from my side. This is Krishnakumar signing off. Keep it with News 9.